Hello everyone, welcome to this insightful session on product branding in rural markets. In today's dynamic business environment, understanding and effectively engaging with the rural consumers is essential for sustainable growth. This lecture will explain the unique aspects of branding specifically tailored for India's vast and evolving rural landscape. So, let us understand what are the learning objectives of this content. By the end of this unit, you will be able to first understand how rural consumers uniquely recognize brands. Number 2, analyze the crucial role retailers play in brand promotion. Number 3, differentiate between brand stickiness and true brand loyalty. And finally, explore effective strategies for building strong and enduring rural brands. These objectives will equip you with a comprehensive understanding of rural branding dynamics. So, introduction to branding content. Let's begin with a foundational understanding of branding. A brand is essentially a designation that differentiates a product from its competitors, characterized by its unique emblem and slogan. Think about brands that readily come to in mind in rural areas such as Rajdoot bikes, Ghadi detergent or Chick shampoo. Research indicates that for fast moving consumer goods or FMCGs in rural India, high quality, cost effectiveness and brand identity are significant factors influencing purchase. For consumer durables, superior quality, aesthetic appeal, and crucially, endorsements from merchants are vital. This also extends to agro inputs like pesticides and high yielding variety seeds, where marketers often employ a brand market specialization approach. Historically, price has been a dominant factor in rural purchasing decisions. However, we are now in a new era of marketing where rural consumers are increasingly recognizing the advantages of branding, partly due to the entry of companies like cola businesses offering low priced options or Chota Coke. So, Indian markets typically hold two perspectives on rural marketing. The first suggests that urban products and marketing materials can be introduced into rural markets with minimal or no modification. The second, and often more effective, perspective acknowledges that marketing in rural areas demands distinct skills and tactics compared to their urban counterparts. This later view recognizes significant opportunities. Low priced items often achieve greater success due to limited purchasing power. Rural consumers largely constitute a homogeneous group with analogous needs, and rural markets can be engaged through diverse media environments beyond traditional urban channels like print or cinema. So, to recap this introductory session, branding in rural markets is about differentiation influenced by quality, cost, and endorsements. While price remains key, evolving awareness is opening doors for branded products, necessitating distinct marketing approaches that leverage opportunities like low priced offerings and diverse media. Now, let's explore the core concept of product branding in rural contexts. While branding arrived relatively late in rural markets, the situation is changing rapidly. In recent years, we have observed a significant shift among rural consumers moving from unbranded to branded products. This change is primarily driven by growing awareness and improved affordability of branded items. But how do rural consumers, especially those with low literacy levels, actually recognize and remember brands? Do they engage with brands in the same way urban consumers do? The answer is no, not exactly. Unlike urban consumers who primarily recognize and remember brands by their names and advertisements, rural consumers often associate brands more with physical cues. These include distinct colors, numbers, and visual symbols or logos. These identifiable features are crucial in helping them remember and differentiate products, especially in low literacy environments. Consider color based recognition, such as Lal Dant Manjan for red tooth powder, Lal Sabun, often referring to Lifebuoy soap due to its distinctive red color, Red Battery for Ever Ready, or Red Label tea for Brook Bond tea. Numbers also serve as a strong identifiers. For example, it includes Godrej number 1 soap, 555 detergent bar, 502 502 Pataka chai, or Brook Bond A1 Kadak chai. These numbers are often prominently displayed on packaging. Finally, visual symbols or logos are incredibly powerful. Think of Ghadi detergent, recognized by its clock image, Rath Vanaspati with its chariot symbol, Vagh Bakri tea with its iconic tiger and goat, Three Roses tea with its three red roses, Kachua chap with the turtle image for mosquito coils, or Cycle Agarbatti with its bicycle image on incense sticks. These non-verbal identifiers make it significantly easier for rural consumers to recall and ask for products, particularly where brand literacy is limited. So, to recap this section, unique brand recognition in rural areas relies heavily on visual cues like colors, numbers, and symbols, which act as powerful memory aids, especially for consumers with low literacy levels. So, moving on to a crucial aspect of rural branding, the indispensable role of retailers. In rural areas, retailers are not just transactional points, they play a vital role in brand promotion. They often have close, long standing personal relationships with customers who frequently rely on their advice. For instance, a customer might simply say, "Give me a tea for 5 rupees," without specifying a brand. In such cases, the retailer's decision heavily influences the purchase. Let's break down their influence. First, retailers act as trusted advisors. Due to close knit communities, trust and familiarity with the local shopkeeper often outweigh general brand awareness. Consumers view them as reliable sources of product recommendations. Secondly, due to low brand awareness among consumers, many rural consumers have limited knowledge of specific brand names, especially for newer or less advertised products. This is where the retailer steps in to influence the decision. Number three, the retailer's power to influence purchases is significant. When a specific brand isn't demanded, the retailer's choice is influenced by factors like stock availability, profit margins on different brands, and any brand schemes or incentives offered by companies. This means they can effectively push any brand they prefer. Number fourth, retailers often serve as brand promoters. Companies frequently use rural retailers as primary channels for promotion, incentivizing them with discounts, free samples, posters, and promotional kits. They are often the first point to introduce for new brands to the rural consumers. And on number five, it stands. They have a considerable impact on consumer habits. Through repetitive exposure and recommendations, consumers tend to continue buying the same brand, gradually developing loyalty. Even if the initial selection wasn't entirely consumer driven. Number six, retailers are key in facilitating first time trials, often by offering free samples or smaller, affordable SKUs, that is, stock keeping units like 1 rupee or 5 rupee sachets. This strategy is highly effective in price sensitive rural markets. On number seven, we count the absence of formal advertising. Retailers provide product information and guidance, explaining features, uses, and benefits, effectively acting as informal brand ambassadors. Finally, retailers understand seasonal demand, adjusting recommendations based on local consumption patterns and agricultural cycles. For instance, selling more energy drinks in summer or mosquito coils during the rainy season. In essence, rural retailers are the vital bridge between brands and consumers. For companies, cultivating strong relationship with them is crucial for market penetration, brand acceptance, and fostering long-term loyalty. To recap, retailers are not just sellers but trusted advisors and powerful brand promoters in rural markets, influencing purchases through personal relationships, incentives, and product information, thereby shaping consumer habits and fostering brand acceptance. An interesting phenomena in rural markets is the concept of first mover advantage leading to generic branding. Many brands that were early entrants in the rural market have achieved such prominence that their names have become generic terms for an entire product category. This is a testament to their early establishment of trust among rural consumers. For example, surf is commonly used to mean any detergent powder regardless of the actual brand. Dalda represents any type of vanaspati or cooking oil, and Kachua chap is the go to term for mosquito coils. Similarly, national level early entrants are like Clinic Plus and Lifebuoy have maintained strong brand loyalty in rural areas. This holds true even though they are often priced higher than local or unbranded competitors. Their early and consistent presence created a lasting brand impression, making it incredibly difficult for newer brands to displace them. This highlights the power of early market penetration and sustained trust building. So, in summary, first mover brands in rural markets often gain a generic status, with their names becoming synonyms with the product category, illustrating the significant and lasting impact of early entry and trust establishment. Let's now shift our focus to the overarching branding strategy in rural markets. Branding, at its core, is a strategic way to foster customer preference for your product and gain a competitive edge. This involves three critical layers of decisions. First, marketers must decide whether the product should be branded at all or simply sold as a commodity. Secondly, if the decision is to brand, then who should sponsor it? The company itself or intermediaries like distributors or retailers? And third, if the company chooses to brand, should the name be linked to a specific product or to the entire family of products? All these decisions must be made while carefully considering competitors, strategies, and crucially, the unique mindset of rural customers. Given the complexities, is branding truly viable in rural markets, and what are its inherent advantages and disadvantages? Let's address the first decision, the case of branding. Are brands truly ready for the rural market? Can rural residents recognize and ask for them? The answer unequivocally is yes. Today, rural consumers are increasingly exposed to metropolitan consumption patterns, and branded items have successfully penetrated rural markets. While a significant portion of the population might still be illiterate, the trend is steadily shifting towards branded items. Reports indicate that branded items now account for approximately 80% of sales across 18 different categories in rural India, strengthening the argument for branding. So, what are the pros of branding in these contexts? First, branding provides prestige value to consumers. With development initiatives, rural consumers aspire to a high standard of living, and brands often symbolize excellence, reducing perceived purchasing risk. Secondly, a strong identity helps processing. A brand name gives a product its own unique personality, making it easier for the firm, distributors, and customers to remember and process, saving time and money across the supply chain. Third, a positive image gives competitive advantage. A brand's prominence and repute built on performance benefits both new and existing products. It puts the marketer in a dominant position, potentially allowing for greater prices and better distributor relations. Fourth, a distinct personality convinces consumers. Brands build identities over time, allowing advertisers to align brand values with those of potential customers, thereby fostering brand loyalty, a long lasting relationship between the brands and the consumer. Number 5, equity enhances value. Popularity not only increase a brand's value in use but also its value in exchange, often leading to premium acquisition offers from rivals or interested entrepreneurs. However, branding in rural markets also comes with its challenges and disadvantages. First, there is often category competition due to factors like illiteracy and perceived gullibility. Competition in these marketplaces is frequently between categories rather than specific brands. Additionally, branded goods are often perceived as unaffordable. Second, there is a prevalent notion of high prices. Rural customers often hold the belief that branded goods are inherently more expensive, leading them to avoid them. Third, investment returns are often doubtful. Building a brand is difficult and resource intensive undertaking requiring significant long term investments in dealer discounts, advertising and research and development. Returns are not guaranteed and numerous brands have failed despite substantial efforts. Fourth, some argue that image and personality are emotional nonsense. Critics suggest that the psychological concepts around brand personality and image are self-serving marketer constructs. They contend that a product primarily sells and thrives if it meets a genuine demand, not solely based on its image. For the vast majority of consumers, especially in rural settings, cost, price and functional advantages are the primary factors influencing purchase decisions. Finally, the concept of brand equity is sometimes seen as merely replacing the older term goodwill. Arguments for a brand are not new. It is the result of a company's accumulated reputation. Marketers, critics argue, exalt brands mainly as an identifying characteristics that aids in promoting uniqueness. So, while branding offers prestige and competitive advantages in rural markets, it faces challenges from category competition, perceptions of high prices and the significant, often uncertain investment required. Let us move to the second and third crucial decisions in branding strategy. The second decision is about brand sponsoring. The marketer must decide who will sponsor the brand. The company brand, also known as a national brand or a distributor brand, often referred to as a private brand. This choice has significant implications for control, making efforts and profit margins. Once the decision is made to give the product a brand name, the third decision involves naming a brand. There are 4 primary ways to approach naming a brand. Number 1, individual names, where each product has its own distinct brand name. The second is individual names with company names, where each product has an individual name. It's linked to the corporate trade name. Number 3, product group family name, where different product groups within a company share a family brand name. And number 4 is blanket family name, where a single brand name is used for all of a company's product. Let's elaborate on the third decision, naming a brand, starting with individual names. This approach calls for each product to have its own unique brand name. This can be done either without or with linking with the company's trade name. First, individual names without the company name. Table 17.1 outlines the merits and demerits. On the merit side, there are fewer constraints on selections and made based on individual items, and if one product fails, it won't negatively impact other goods. This strategy also allows for upward and downhill stretching of the brand and offers the chance to choose names with distinctive connotations. However, the demerits include potential confusion from too many names. Customers might not know the company name, and successful brands' images cannot benefit other goods. Further, the development expense is substantial. Examples include Godrej, Synthol, Lifebuoy from HUL, and Ariel from P&G. Notice how the company name isn't explicitly part of the product brand name. Second, individual names with the company name. Some businesses choose to incorporate their trade name to identify each brand name. Examples include Pond's Dream Flower Talc and Pond's Magic, TVS 50XL and Wipro Shikakai. Here, the company names act as a direct identifier for the individual product brand. To recap individual naming, brands can stand alone or be linked to the company name, each offering distinct advantages regarding flexibility and risk, but also challenges related to recall and cost. Let's continue with brand naming conventions, focusing now on product group and blanket family names. First, the product group family name approach. Companies with diverse product portfolios might opt to give each group a distinct family brand name. A classic example is Raymond. Park Avenue offers ready-made shirts, shoes and toiletries, while the brand Raymond specializes fabrics. The benefits here include aiding the promotion of a collection of goods, lower development expenses, and the limited negative impact of a product failure, as it only affects a specific group. This also allows different groups to form distinct psychological connections with consumers. Second, the blanket family name policy promotes using a single brand name for all the company's products. Consider Usha, which uses the same name for fans, sewing machines and industrial pumps, or Nirma for detergent, toothpaste and soap, and Colgate, known for dental cream and toothbrushes. The advantages of this approach are immediate firm recall and a consistent company image, saving time and money on new product launches. Further, positive CSR initiatives of the company can also benefit all its brands. However, the significant drawback is that the failure of one product can severely harm the company's overall reputation. To recap, product group family names offer targeted branding for product categories, while blanket family names provide unified brand recognition but carry the risk of widespread reputational damage from a single product failure. Now, let's discuss specific brand strategies starting with brand identity. The overarching goals for branding in rural markets are twofold. First, to make less educated consumers aware of the brand and encourage them to purchase. And second, to create an image for the brand that facilitates the sale of both the current product and new product in the same family. For the brand identity strategy, the primary goal is to establish simple familiarity among rural consumers. The secondary goal is to evoke an emotional response that increases interest in purchasing the goods. To achieve this, specific rules aid in properly naming brands. They should be easy to use, short, basic and easy to say like Tide, Surf or Colgate. They should be easy to understand and associate, meaning they are significant and imply the product's features or capabilities such as Medimix or Fair and Lovely. And more importantly, they must be easy to distinguish, distinct, unusual and not a direct copy of product like Clinic Plus or Pepsi. Brand identity develops gradually, starting with the product itself, then evolving into a person, a symbol and ultimately an organization. Consider Dabur Vajradanti signifies strong teeth and Chyawanprash implies young vitality. When combined, these associations contributes to Dabur's reputation as a health promoting firm. To recap, brand identity strategy aims for simple familiarity and emotional connection in rural markets through easy, understandable and distinctive names which gradually build a comprehensive brand perception. Next, let's discuss the brand extension strategy. This involves introducing new products as extensions of an already established and powerful brand. The question often arises, should new items be introduced as distinct brands or an extension of an existing one? There are several reasons why line extensions are pursued. These include reacting to competition by introducing innovative products, sizing market opportunities by filling existing gaps, enhancing the overall corporate image by offering a full product line, responding to pressure from dealers and the sales force, leveraging available surplus capacity or even fulfilling a senior executive desire to launch a new product. Specifically, why brand extensions? The decision to support brand extensions is influenced by factors such as the desire to increase brand awareness, to lower brand development expenses by capitalizing on existing brand equity, to lower risk by relying on a reputable brand reputation, and to fulfill the complete line of offer or to compete more effectively in the market. Evaluating brand extensions is crucial. The decision is to extend a brand is considered sound if the new brand is successful, the parent brand is not cannibalized or harmed by the new offering. The brand expansion failure does not result in brand dilution and similarity. Brand multiplication does not lead to dilution of the core brand's value or image. This careful evaluation ensures that extensions genuinely add value and do not undermine the original brand's strength. To recap, brand extensions are strategic moves to leverage existing brand equity for new products driven by market opportunities, cost efficiency, and risk reduction, but require careful evaluation to ensure success and avoid brand dilution. Let's now consider co-branding. This strategy involves a marketer offering one brand alongside another, which might be from the same firm or a different company altogether. Co-branding can occur in two main ways. The first is co-branding of ingredients. This happens when the manufacturer insists on promoting the components within a product to enhance the overall brand's reputation. It also occurs when the component itself is significant and the component manufacturer's reputation boosts the final product's acceptance by customers. Classic examples include Intel Inside, where Intel processors are promoted with Compaq and IBM computers. Another instance is Milton and Cello, utilizing SAIL steel to promote the quality of their thermoware. Similarly, a Kelvinator fridge might highlighting that it comes with a Blue Star thermostat. In these cases, the ingredient brand lends credibility and perceived quality to the host product. The second way, though not explicitly detailed here, is co-branding of products, where two distinct finished products combine, such as a clothing brand collaborating with a footwear brand for a limited edition collection. To recap, co-branding strategically combines two brands, most notably through ingredient co-branding, where the reputation of a component manufacturer enhances the credibility and acceptance of the final product. That brings us to the end of the first part of our session on product branding in rural markets. We have covered key ground today. We established that a brand is how rural consumers are increasingly recognizing them, moving beyond just price, a key insight with how rural consumers recognize brands through colors, numbers, and symbols. We deeply explored the essential role of retailers, seeing them as trusted advisors and powerful brand promoters who shape purchases through personal relationships and incentives. We noted the first mover advantage, where the brands like Surf became generic term. Finally, we began discussing branding strategies, weighing the pros and cons of branding in rural contexts and touching upon brand identity, extension, and co-branding. This foundation helps us understand the why and who of rural branding. We are now ready to transit to the how, specifically how to build strong, enduring brands. Stay tuned in the next part of the video lecture.